Hello, guys. Welcome back to the Fantasy Chancer. Apologies, I'm a bit sick at the moment, but welcome back to the Fantasy Chancer, the show we bring you nearly each and every week on the Upper Tier podcast. Apologies, missed last week. I was on holidays with the kiddos, but we are back this week, and I'm going to go through my team from last week. So, in goals, I had Matt Turner. Unfortunately, couldn't keep a clean sheet. Finished on 2 points. William Saliba and Dan Burn both popped up with the goods. Two solid reliables from last season. Obviously, Saliba got injured near the end, but these two guys are very, very consistent. And Dan Burn still at the price of 4.5 million. Saliba's price is rising at the moment. I think he's on 5.1 at the moment. And Sergio Romero only got two. I fancy Tottenham to get a clean sheet last week against Sheffield United. They conceded. They won the game late on. And that was disappointing because I thought that they would get a clean sheet there. In the middle of the park, Mo Salah back into form, finishing on 10 points. Son, while the two goals happened for Tottenham, wasn't involved in them, which is unusual now that Kane's out of the picture, but I still expect big things from Son. Mitoma, obviously facing Manchester United last week and Brighton on the end of 3 goals, and Mitoma wasn't involved in any of them either, which was strange. But Bukayo Saka pops up with 6 points again. Eddie Nketiah is one I'm going to need to look at because I got a feeling after Jesus' last 2 games that we're going to see Nketiah exit the team now, and he was there for me as a cheap option. Erling Haaland, of course, 12 points, another goal. Standard captain choice has to be done every week. If you don't have him as your captain, you're going to get left behind, and it's as simple as that. And Ollie Watkins popping up with 5. So I just want to see what was on my bench now last week. So Leno for 6, which was the wrong decision. Baldock injured. Makamba 2. Luton been very poor. And Sven Botman for 9 points, which I missed out on. But not this week. I'm going to put him back in. But we're going to have a look at the league table for the upper tier. So, Jeff Alsop, number 1 on 318, and I find myself in second place, which is kind of crazy. That's probably the highest I've ever been on this upper tier league. So 2 points. It's still very, very early days. Darren is there at 288 and I'm on 314, so it's only 20 points between first, second, and 10th. So there's a lot to go. And we are at how many teams? 33. So we're down from last year. So, but still, 33 is a healthy number to kick on for the rest of the season. And some very interesting fixtures this week, and some key decisions to be made. So I've went with Bernd Leno and goals. Crystal Palace away. Crystal Palace have been hot and cold. I could see this one maybe playing out as a 0-0. So that's why I went with Leno and goals. William Saliba is a gamble, as I expect goals to happen in the North London derby, but I had one Tottenham and I had one Arsenal defender, so I felt that Saliba maybe has the better chance of even getting an assist or getting a header goal or something like that. So that's why I went with him. 2 defenders, Botman and Byrne, Sheffield United. They were very compact, very organised against Tottenham last week. Can they do the same against Newcastle? Quite possibly, but do they have the firepower up front to get the goals? That's the question for Sheffield United. And that's why I went with 2 Newcastle defenders. I could see it being a tight game and maybe a Newcastle 1 or 2-0, maybe a couple of late goals. But I expect Newcastle to keep a clean sheet, and that's why I have those 2 guys in there, and they're both at very, very, very good prices as well, considering the season and the clean sheets that Newcastle kept last year. If you want to put Kieran Trippier in, he's a lot more expensive than these guys. These guys are playing every week, so from a budget point of view, Botman and Byrne, you can't really go wrong. Now in the middle of the park, Mo Salah, West Ham. That's going to be an interesting game for Liverpool because West Ham have been pretty decent and held their own for a long time last week against Manchester City. Son is in there, and Saka obviously playing against each other. You'd expect goals in the North London derby, and if you're expecting goals, you're looking at Son and Saka potentially to score. Bitoma, as we touched on earlier, didn't score last week, but Bournemouth at home, you would definitely fancy Brighton to win. Will Mitoma play? Will Evan Ferguson come back in? Will he tweak the systems? It's hard to know, but I fancy Brighton for a win there. Now up top, I have Eddie Nketiah here. I don't think Eddie's going to start. I think Jesus is going to start. but I need to kind of work on that and build up some transfers over the next few weeks to remove Nketiah for the team. And I don't know if I'll be able to afford to put Jesus in, so I might have to look at a different striking option. But for the moment, I'm going to leave him in there. Erling Haaland, Nottingham Forest at home, captain. You would think it's a banker. Looks like he's going to play nearly every game this year. Julian Alvarez now can be accommodated into the team on either wing, it seems. So there's no reason to drop this man. He's not droppable anyway, if you need 3 points. But yeah, Erling Haaland's got to be captain. Everyone's going to have him as captain. Like, we'll just have a look now at the percentage of people that own him, and then we'll know where we're at. 92.4 people own him. That is absolutely fucking bonkers. So potentially 92% of the players in this competition will have him as captain this week. So you got to have him as captain, and you got to work around him then to make sure you build up those points. Ollie Watkins alongside him, Chelsea. Very poor start to the season from Chelsea. Delighted with that. And yeah, you could see Ollie Watkins popping up with a goal here for Aston Villa. If depends on what Villa shows up. Emery sometimes is capable of just being too attacking minded, but I don't think there's enough penetration that Chelsea side to do a lot of damage to Villa. So I reckon Villa will be pretty expansive at the Bridge the weekend. So that's going to be a really, really good game. On the bench then, Turner, Man City at home. Yeah, you don't see a clean sheet coming there. Baldock's injured. Makamba, Luton have been shit. And Romero, I can't see Tottenham keeping a clean sheet at the Emirates. But I don't think Arsenal will as well. I think that will be one of the games, if not the game of the weekend. So that's pretty much it from me, guys. Subscribe to this channel. It is absolutely fucking booming. And fair play to Niall, Darren, seen Ian on a few shows, resident referee Mark doing some great stuff, very consistent. And the channel is only going from strength to strength. I'm delighted to play a little bit of a small part in it. And I will see you next week, guys. Thank you so much.